Welcome to Cooking from the Cave. I'm Chef Pete Truzzi. I can tell you we're going to be making one of my probably oldest recipes that I've always had. It's probably one of the first or second recipes I made before I even went to culinary school. Guinness Beef Stew. I had it at a restaurant once and I fell in love with it, so I immediately went home, looked through all my cookbooks. And I'm old enough that it was probably even before the internet and all that good stuff, so I looked through all my cookbooks and I found this great recipe. So I'm going to share that recipe today with you. This recipe starts off with a lean chuck roast. I've diced it up into 1.5 inch cubes. And we're going to start heating up our stock pot. While the stock pot heats up, we're going to add our spices. Now, there's going to be some bay leaves involved with that. We're not going to add our dried bay leaves right now. We're going to add those later on. But the spices we will add to our chuck roast. I have a little bit of coriander, and the reason why I'm using coriander, ground coriander, this is a 1/4 teaspoon of coriander, is because the orange flavor that you get from coriander works so well with that Guinness. It's a perfect harmony. Some dried oregano, and then also some smoked paprika. We're going to sprinkle this on here. Of course, I'm going to add some pepper and salt, and we can adjust those seasonings later. And we're just going to want to toss the beef up together and make sure we get it nice and coated with that paprika and coriander and oregano, salt and pepper. Mix it up real well. Once it's well coated, our next step is to make sure we put some oil in the pan. This is just regular canola oil because I am going to be searing this beef, so I don't want to use olive oil right now. I don't want to cause that smoke flavor or burn the oil. We'll drop our beef into the oil. That searing noise is what you're going to be looking for. And from here, we're just going to let the beef brown up or caramelize and slowly turn it. So this process might take 2 to 3 minutes. We'll come back and we'll take a look at what that looks like at the end. So our beef is browned up nicely. I've turned my hood on to get some of the smoke out of here. Our next thing is to add our vegetables. And I'm going to add them all at the same time. What I have here is I have 1 whole onion, diced up, 1 yellow onion, 8 cloves of garlic, lightly mashed, so I just smash them down with the knife, 1 parsnip, about 1/2 pound of carrots, baby carrots, and then 3 Yukon Gold potatoes. And we're going to put all these in the pot, stir them around, and then we'll come back and we'll start adding our liquids to make our soup. I've stirred in our vegetables. Looks good. We're going to then start to add our tomato paste. And I'm going to add about 3 ounces of tomato paste. So half of the little cans of tomato paste. We'll stir this in. Try and get it, work it down to the bottom of the vegetables and the beef, all the way down to the bottom of the pan there. And just kind of evenly coat all the vegetables. I'm going to then turn my heat back up to high heat, let this caramelize. I want the tomatoes to kind of develop a little bit of color. They're going to sweeten up all the vegetables and the beef in here because of the natural sugars that are in the tomatoes. And then we'll add our beer and also our stock. Don't be alarmed if your tomato paste starts to burn or brown. That's what we want to happen. I'm just going to give it a little bit more stir. I'm going to bring some of the vegetables and the beef from the top down to the bottom of the pan. Make sure that tomato paste really cooks out. You'll see a little caramelization or a little browning in the bottom of your pan. That's perfectly natural. Next thing is we're going to add our beer. And this is 1 full bottle. It's going to bubble up on you. And we're going to slowly stir this in. I'm going to continue to stir this, making sure that I'm scraping, and this is what a good flat spatula will do. I'm going to scrape up any of the bits that are stuck to the bottom of the pan. That's all flavor down there. We're going to incorporate that into our stew. And at this point, because I was on high heat, it's boiling pretty fast right now. The beer's reduced. We're going to add 2 bay leaves. And again, just let that beer reduce by half. We're going to add our stock. This is 3 cups of stock. If your vegetables aren't completely covered by the stock, go ahead and add another cup. And also go ahead and just spread those vegetables out. At this point, we're going to let it come up to a boil. Once it comes up to a boil, we're going to bring it down to a simmer. And I don't want this to evaporate that much, so once it comes up to a boil and we bring it down to a simmer, I'm going to go ahead and put a lid on it. So at this point, I'm just going to let it, I'm going to wait for it to boil, and then I'll just continue on with that process. After 2 hours of cooking on a very low simmer, our beef is now very tender. Our potatoes, our carrots are all cooked. And at this point, we can just plate it up. Now this can also be done, you could serve this with a nice hearty crusty bread or something like that, so they can dip the bread into the stew itself. It's a wonderful dish just by itself. It has all the components of a great meal. I'm just going to garnish it with some chives or some green onions on top. And there you go. Now all we got to do is crack another Guinness and sit down for a great meal. Thanks again for watching Cooking from the Cave. I'm Chef Pete Trusiak, and I'll see you real soon.